All right, welcome to Chapter 7, where we are talking about managing the cost of labor. Okay, starting with question number 1. Serena owns a gourmet coffee shop. In Serena's operation, payroll costs for hourly employees and salaried employees are calculated separately. Serena records the revenue her operation generated last month, as well as the amount she spent on hourly staff and for salaried managers. Calculate Serena's last month labor cost percentage for her hourly staff and for her salaried employees, as well as her total payroll cost and her total payroll cost percentage. All right, so we see our revenue here is $135,000. She has paid her hourly staff. Those would be, her baristas and her prep team, her servers, anyone who makes an hourly wage, $29,500, and then her salaried managers, $6,500. Okay, so let's add up her total payroll here. We're going to add our hourly staff plus our salaried managers. And so we see that we have a total payroll of $36,000. So if we want to figure out what percentage of our total payroll that we have spent on the hourly staff, we are going to take our hourly staff and we're going to divide that by our total payroll. Now the same thing, let's take our cost of our salaried managers and we're going to divide that by our total payroll. All right, so we can see that out of the $36,000, 81% we spent on hourly staff and about 18% on our salaried managers. Now if we want to look at our labor cost percentage for the whole operation, let's look at our total payroll and we're going to divide that by our revenue. So we ran a labor cost of 26.7% for that month. All right, let's go to question number 2. Rosa is the manager of a fine dining Italian restaurant in a large Midwest city. She has experienced high turnover with her hourly employees over the past several months because they say she isn't paying competitive wages. More employees have threatened to leave if she doesn't give them a raise. She's determined that she can compete with local restaurants if she raises the hourly wage from $8 per hour to $8.50 per hour, a 6.25% increase. Rosa is concerned about what this will do to her labor cost percentage. Her current labor cost is 35%, and she feels that 38% is the highest labor cost ratio she can maintain and still make a profit. Using last month's data, let's help Rosa calculate the effect of a 6.25% increase in wages. All right, so we see in our past month, we've got our 4 weeks. We have all of our cost of labor. So if we want to calculate what our increase would be, we will take that cost of labor and we're going to multiply it times this 6.25%. All right. So we see that in week 1, we spent $10,650, and if they'd had a raise, we would have spent an additional $665, which would give us, we'll add those two together, we would have spent $11,315.63 in labor. All right, let's do that one again. All right, so we have our cost of labor, and we see what, I keep getting that wrong. So we see what our increase would have been, and let's add those two together. All right, so we see that we would have spent $12,829.69. All right, so we can copy these formulas and paste them in. We'll do the same thing. Oops. We're going to copy this formula and we're going to drag it down. All right, so let's look and see what our labor cost percentage would be if we had given our staff that increase. All right, so in order to get our labor cost, we'll take our cost of labor and we're going to divide that by our sales or our revenue. So we're at 41%. Again, we take our total cost of labor and we divide that by our total sales. And we'll paste this formula in here. Now let's add up the weeks so we see what we would have averaged for the month. And we'll do the same thing for our sales. All right, so we see if she gives her employees a raise based on what her labor cost was, we can see that we are averaging 37%. Now, I will say that it does look like week 4 is an anomaly. It brings us down quite a bit. She was pretty consistent at the around 40%. Now, what would you do in her situation? Now we know how expensive it is if, let's say she doesn't give them a raise because she doesn't want to spend the extra 3%. Now what she's going to end up spending it on is interviewing and hiring new staff members, which in turn, they won't be as productive, they won't be as efficient, so her labor cost percentage will end up probably being higher with her guest satisfaction being lower because she doesn't have the service level that her guests are used to. So what I would do if I was her and I was a good manager, I would give all of my employees a review and I would give them a goal. I would say, we're going to hit you with the 25% increase and we're going to make a couple goals and we're going to revisit this in, let's say, 4 weeks to get you to 850. And work with them on what they want their goals to be. Maybe you have a server who you want to work with on upselling. Okay, they're really good at sales and you want to see if they can increase their check average. All right, and that's something very measurable, right? So if, let's say, your per person average is $7 per hour, and by the end of the month, let's see if you can get it to $8 per hour or per guest. That increase will in turn pay for the raise that you're going to give them. Let's say you have a staff member that you want to see in a more of a leadership role. You give them a couple things to do. It really helps your staff get bought in on the position and helps them feel like they're going to earn that raise. If you just throw the money at them and then you don't ask for, you're giving your staff a raise because you want them to stick around and you value their experience there, but you also want to make sure that you are getting that experience out of them. So I would give them a raise, but I would also give them goals that go along with those with that money as well.